Okay, the lesson that I will discuss today is all about theories in language and culture by SAPIR-WHORF hypothesis. SAPIR-WHORF hypothesis is the theory that an individual's thoughts and actions are determined by the language or languages that individual speak. The strong version of the hypothesis states that all human thoughts and actions are bound by the restraints of language and is generally less accepted than the weaker version, which says that language only somewhat shapes our thinking and behavior. The following quotes from the two linguists who first formulated the hypothesis and for whom it is named Edward Sapir and Benjamin Warp. Okay, let's read first by the Edward Sapir. He says that human beings do not live in the objective world alone, nor alone in the world of social activity as ordinarily understood, but are very much at the mercy of particular language, which has become the medium of expression for their society. It is quite an illusion to imagine that one adjusts to reality essentially without the use of language and that language is merely an incidental means of solving specific problems of communication or reflection. The fact of the matter is that the real world is to a large extent unconsciously built upon the language habits of the group. No two languages are ever sufficiently similar to be considered as representing the same social reality. The institutionally accredited worlds in which different societies live are distinct worlds, not merely the same world with different labels attached. We see and hear and otherwise experience very largely as we do because the language habits of our community predispose certain choices of interpretation. And the second one is by Benjamin Werp. He stated that we dissect nature along lines laid down by our native languages. The categories the categories and types that we isolate from the world of phenomena we do not find there because they stare every observer in the face. On the contrary, the world is presented in a kaleidoscopic flux of impressions which has to be organized by our minds, and this means largely by the linguistic systems in our minds. We cut nature up, organize it into concept, and ascribe significance as we do largely because we are parties to an agreement to organize it in this way. The agreement is, of course, an implicit and unstated one, but its terms are absolutely obligatory. We cannot talk at all except by subscribing to the organization and classification of data which the agreement decrees. Okay, the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis are the two concepts or two people who collaborate in order to form this hypothesis. Well, the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis posits that language either determines or influence one's thought. In other words, people who speak different languages see the world differently based on the language they use to describe it. Do you agree that people who speak different languages view or see the world differently? For me, of course, because the more language we know, the more things or something we can understand. Also, if we know different languages, we can literally change what we see. That's all. Thank you. Thank you very